Hey, Michael with X-Force PC. I want to talk about setting up a triple display system. And then if you actually have a fourth display, then we'll talk about that at the very end. So when you hook up your monitors, you want to plug all of them into the video card. And if you got everything from us, we should have sent you the correct video connections to hook everything, all four monitors or three monitors, into the video card, not into the onboard motherboard ports. So when you turn your system on, even though all four monitors are plugged in, or three monitors, however many you have, they may not necessarily all light up. So don't let that make you think, oh, it's not going to work. Only like here, when I turn this on, only two of the monitors lit up. So the way you start is you right-click on the desktop, try to get out of the way, and go to the NVIDIA control panel. And the first thing we're going to do is set up the three monitors up here to run X-Plane up top. So I'm trying to quit hitting the keyboard here. And I'm going to right-click on the desktop, choose NVIDIA control panel, which will bring that up, and I will try to zoom in on that just a bit. We'll be informal here. And you'll see all the monitors that are connected to the video card, a little representation here. But we want to click or check the box that says Span Displays with Surround and hit the Configure button. And it's telling me I need to close a program before we can continue. So let me close the calculator, which I inadvertently opened. Hit Configure again. The screens will all blank out, that's normal. And then they'll all kind of come to life with numbers on them. And you'll notice here we have some big numbers, 2, 4, and 3 on our monitors, as well as we have some little numbers right here. So what we have to do is drag these numbers around. You see how they just kind of drag around, but you want to make the numbers match. So the big numbers are 2, 4, 3. We want to make sure that the little numbers here also say 2, 4, 3. And then hit the Enable Surround button. So what that does is it tells the computer which monitor's on the left, which one's on the right, and which one's in the middle. That way when you move your mouse across all three, that the mouse moves properly. So the next thing you want to do is test that. Move your mouse all the way to the right, all the way to the left. Make sure it tracks properly, and mine does. So now we'll move on to the next step as I try to zoom in here a bit. So we're still in the NVIDIA control panel. It's the same window we were just at when we dragged these monitors around. We want to do our bezel correction, which is right here. So you just start increasing this number until the roads right here look like they meet. And you'll notice the higher the number gets, the more the roads look like they kind of meet. And for me, I know that number is somewhere around 95-ish, something like that. It's not an exact science. And then I'm going to hit Apply. So the monitors will all go blank again as it applies that setting change. And what bezel correction does is just what the name sounds like. It compensates for the width of this bezel and allows things to actually pass behind the bezel. Now we won't be actually using bezel correction unless we change our resolution right over here. You'll see a resolution at the very top that says bezel corrected. This should be the very top one in the list. Change to that and hit Apply again. Again, the screens will all go blank and the change will be made, and we'll be using bezel correction. So mine happens to say 5950 by 1080 bezel corrected. And so what that does is you'll notice how I move my mouse across, the mouse doesn't pop up on the other screen until it's passed behind the bezel, instead of instantly popping up on the other screen. Alright, so close this and apply on the NVIDIA control panel, and you see we've got our three screens set up. So I'm going to open up my copy of X-Plane now, and you'll notice that it opens up on the 3 screens. And we just have one more setting to do. So to be using all this extra real estate, we need to change the lateral field of view in X-plane. That's how many degrees of forward view that we want these 3 monitors to display. Now to X-plane and to the computer, it looks like one really wide monitor. So we need to tell X-plane, hey, this is a really wide monitor, so please give us a really wide field of view. The default field of view in X-plane is usually set to 60 degrees, which is a pretty narrow setting. We're actually going to want to double that to 120, which I've actually already done in this particular situation. But you go to the settings menu and rendering options, and right here, I know you probably can't read it on the camera, but you don't need to. It says lateral field of view. You want to set that to 120 degrees. And this is another place where you can change X-plane to either show the instrument panel or not. I have it set to forward with scenery only right here, but if you don't have another monitor down here with your instruments, then you might want to change that to forward with panel, or leave it set to forward with panel. That way you have the instrument panel here and you can actually scroll down and look at the instruments if you need to. If you're going to have a 4th monitor like we have here, then maybe you leave it set to forwards with scenery only, like so. So if you just have 3 screens, this is the end of the road. You can stop watching the video now. If you have a 4th screen, then we're going to start talking about that. So I'm going to file and quit on this copy of X-plane, and then I'm going to right-click on the desktop and go to Display Settings. And inside of here, you'll see are 2 monitors. Yes, 2 monitors. Because remember, Windows sees this up here as one really wide monitor. And so that's this one right here. See that real wide rectangle? And then our 4th monitor down here is represented by this little box. But notice it's over on the far right. We actually want to drag that box. Well, first we have to enable it, sorry. So down here where it says multiple displays, make sure you choose extend these displays. You need to extend them first before it'll let you drag that monitor. I'm going to keep the changes. Now, I'd had this set up once before, so you'll notice the monitor is right below, but odds are for you, this monitor will be sitting over here to the right side like that. And you'll just want to grab it and drag it so it's directly below the real wide monitor and hit apply. And the other thing is you want to make sure that the top wide monitor here is your main display. I'm doing a little quote thing, main display, which is this checkbox right here. And you'll see when I have this one highlighted, the box is checked for make this my main display. Because X-plane is going to open on what is referred to as your main display by Windows. So now we have all 4 screens set up. And so we're able to not only open X-plane up top for the 3 wide external view monitors, but we now have this 4th display down here which we can use to run SIM plugins, Air Manager, or possibly a second copy of X-plane. All those things are covered in a separate video though. And there we are. There is our 120 degrees of X-plane. And again, we also have this monitor down here still available to us. I'll go ahead and open. And on this particular system, I have a second copy of X-plane installed with the proper configurations. You can't just open up a second copy of X-plane without having done a few things in the network configuration for it to work. But again, that's covered in a separate video. And this second copy of X-plane is going to be used to simply display my instrument panel. that's in X-Plane. So I'm just going to drag it down here and maximize the window. And there you see we have our instruments down here and our external view up here.